Okay, now this is on to part 2 now, so I'm sorry I'm having to split it up like this, but there is a lot of information in this, and just one video would just be way too long. So I just decided to have part 1 show finding the coordinates. Now part 2, we're going to write the script. And we registered our labels, we made our labels. We need to make our flags now. We need to create our flags, and this is what turns on the code. Each one of them. One is to save our marker coordinates, and one is to load our guy's coordinates to the marker. So let's label it as marker save underscore save, and label marker underscore load. And we need to make those or register those as symbols as well. Just put that as load. And a couple of more areas we need to have our save location. This is what's going to store our markers, so we're going to call that save 2. We need to create a label for it. And we need, well, actually we don't. We'll deal with the load later. We'll have to deal with the load in this particular script over here, because we need to do our load location in our player's memory block, the one that we allocated for our character. And I'll show you why in just a minute, so this will make sense. Alright, so let's go ahead and start the script. We're going to go ahead and compare our flag, our marker save underscore save, and we're going to compare it to 1 and jump it equal to save 2. I'm just going to jump down here. Let's also go ahead and define or declare our bytes for our positions. X position 2. This will be in a different allocated memory, in our store marker allocated memory. We're just going to declare the byte at 0. Nothing's in there as of right now until we save that particular stuff. And Z position 2. And we need our flags here as well. Save. And this is to declare a byte at 0, or excuse me, declare a D word. And marker underscore load, and declare a D word at value of 0. Okay. So the first thing it's going to do, it's going to jump. It's going to go to new mem A, which is a new allocated memory. It's going to compare marker save to 1. When we first load it up, it's going to be 0. We're going to have to assign a hotkey over here. And when that equals 1, it's going to jump to save 2. First thing we need to do is move into our marker save a 0, so it's not continuously saving it, turns it back off. And we need to borrow a register. I'm just going to borrow RCX. I don't see RCX being used, so I like to utilize a registry that's not actually being used right then and there. So push RCX, and what we're going to do is we need to move. These are our marker coordinates right here. These are the addresses. RBX plus 10 is X, RBX plus 14, RBX plus 18 is all our 3 coordinates, and we need to move those and save those in our other allocated memory, our store marker, and it's assign these addresses, and we need to store the values of our marker coordinates. So we're going to move into RCX, this right here, RBX plus 10, the first one. And what we need to do is we need to have RCX carry that information to right here, because this is our X coordinate. So X position 2, we'll have RCX move that information and store it there. And we need to do the same thing for the other 2. Change that to RBX plus 14 and RBX plus 18, and change this to Y position and this to Z position. we need to pop RCX, and we need to jump from there to code 2, or code A, I'm sorry. Okay, let's make sure we got everything. Right here, we need it to jump to code 2. If that's off, we don't want it saving anything, so we need it to overjump that to code A, I'm sorry. I keep doing that. I should have just named it code A, or code 2. There we go. Now I know that we need our load as well, okay? I know that, but we're going to do that over here. So right now, I think we have everything that we need. We need to go ahead and unregister these as well. Just, I don't think I did that. It's a lot of prep you got to do for this. So what I want to do is I want to save this to the current sheet table, so we have that as a backup. And also it lets us know if we made any mistakes, because it won't understand it. So let's go ahead and start transposing it over to our new script. And what I want to do, let's clear that mess up. I'm just going to move all this over here. And just put it in its appropriate area. And you can make it look nice and neat all you want and everything. I'm just trying to get things over here right now. And this is our other allocated memory for our marker, so we need to put it in a different spot in the script here. So we want to go all the way down here past return, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to section something off. This is just for me with hash marks. We're just going to call that marker Forbes store. That way I know what that section of code is doing. And then we're just going to paste that. That looks okay. Make sure we take all this information over to our other script. Just paste it. That is fine, just like that for right now. Also remember, we have our load that we need to do also. So let's go ahead and do that. What we need to do is we need to go up to where our character is. Now this is the new mem allocation for our char. If we save a location, this is dealing with just his coordinates. It saves his coordinates, and this is dealing with him. It loads his previously saved coordinates. But we need a load 2 over here. So I'm just going to stick another label in here, call it load 2. And we need to register that as a symbol. Well, no, we don't need to do that. We don't need to do that. We need the flag. That's what I need, right? Yeah, and we've already registered all that, so that's fine. But what we need to do is we need to put that with our previous store coordinate, not with our market coordinate, because we're going to be using it in this allocated memory. So I'm going to put it up here with it just so I can keep things together. Alright, enable, I'm sorry, I forgot what I called it, marker load, and we're going to define that at 0 right here. So what I want to do is I want to put it with my chars to compare to marker load, and compare that to 1. If it's equal, I need it to jump if equal to load 2. So down here I'm going to put load 2. Okay. So basically it's the same thing that we've done in the past. We're just adding more to it. And what we're going to do is we need to use our characters' addresses to write what we just previously stored with our marker. Okay, so these are the names of our markers: is X position 2, Y position 2, Z position 2, and that's what we're going to use. So the first thing we need to do when it jumps down here to load 2 is we need to move into marker underscore load. We need to move a 0 back in there. Now we're going to push this registry because we used that registry earlier for our guy, because we're in a totally different section of memory than we are over here. Okay, we can't use these particular registries for this up here. So let's go ahead and move into RBX X position 2. And what we need to do is we need to move what's being transported over to RBX into our characters' coordinate addresses. So that'll be RBX. So RBX is going to go down here to what we just previously stored there, and it's going to come back and store it in memory to our character's X address. And we need to do that for all coordinates. But we're going to do a little bit differently with Y, and I'm going to show you that in just a second here. I'm going to show you what a call is used for. Okay, well, we're going to use a call, the call function. Well, we haven't done that yet on my channel, I don't think, or I don't remember doing it. So Y, oops, so Y and our Z right here. And we need to pop RBX and jump to code. I'm just going to jump to this code here. So basically all we did was store information, and we stored information via this to here, and we're retrieving this information and putting it to here. Okay, so saving marker, store marker locations here. We need our character that has this stored location. We need our character to have those at his coordinates, and that's what teleports him to our marker coordinates. Okay, alright, now remember what I said earlier. Let's get back to the game here. Remember what I said earlier about the map not being drawn in faraway places. So to give it time to do that, let me pause it again. To give it time to do that, we need to have our character appear a little bit above the ground. To give it time to draw the map, to put the collision fields down, and then our character can safely drop onto the collision field of the ground. Okay? If we have it equal to the ground, the collision field ain't there yet, and if it has to draw that and set the collision fields, our character could possibly fall through because there's no collision field there yet. Does that make sense? Okay, so what I want to do is I want to have a new location, and I'm going to call it Y increase. And what I'm going to do, our Y coordinate is our up and down coordinate, so I'm going to have it add to what it previously stored, our Y position, to have it appear a little bit higher in the air. So we need to make two locations. One, just our up here, and this is just where we're storing our float value. I'm just going to store a float value, and I'm just going to call it above. And I'm going to store that as a float, let's just say a float 30, and we'll just experiment from there. And we need to label those and register those. So label Y increase and label above. And let's register those as a symbol so we can use those outside of their memory locations. I can spell Y increase and register symbol above. You'll see what I'm doing with this. It'll make sense in a minute. I know it's, you're going like, huh? You know, I get it. Like I say, there's a lot to this. And we're going to go over the entire code too, so you'll know exactly what the code is doing. I don't know why I did that. Just paste, Chris. There you go. Alright. Now we could do this two different ways. Is we could separate where it's writing to our Y position. We can separate that out, create a new label, and just have it jump back to the new label. And you know, that's messy. It just takes up a lot more time to do. But we're going to use what's called a call function. A call is similar to a jump, but other than that, I'm sorry, we need to be up here. I apologize. In our load position right here. This is where we're going to put it. We're going to have it call Y increase. And what it does is similar to a jump. It's going to call this instruction. It's going to go to that memory allocation, and it's going to run whatever we tell it to run. And we're going to have it return, and when it returns, it's just going to come back where it left off. This is what a call function does. It saves you from having to break apart stuff, create new labels, have it jump back to a new label, and things like that. It just picks up where it left off. So we're going to have it jump down here with the call function, okay? And when it gets to Y increase, and what do we want to do with the Y increase? We need to make it add a little bit more to what we previously stored there. So we want it to add that float 30 that we allocated right here, or that we put right here. And that's the name of our float. 30 is above, okay? And this is how we do that. So this is what we need increase. So what we're going to do is we're going to float load our Y position 2. So what we're doing is we're loading up this right here. Okay? And what we want to do is, this is dealing with the float pointer stack, which is separate stack than the other stack. It's the float point register stack, and what it's going to do is going to load our coordinates of Y position 2 and put it on top of the stack. That's what it's dealing with in this section. And we're going to add above to that. And what is above? Above is float 30. It's going to add 30 more to our coordinates, which is also a float. And what do we do after that? We are going to float store and pop it back off the stack. We're done with it. We're just going to save the new result. It's going to add it here, and we're going to resave it to our Y position 2. So it's going to do all that. And we're going to have it return. So what it's going to do is going to return to here, and our Y position now has 30 more added to it. And that way we can appear a little bit more above the ground. It's just going to pick up where it left off and keep going. Just like that. I think I have everything, but we'll find out in just a minute. Let's go ahead and let me see if I can okay that. It'll tell me any errors that I have. Not all code is injectable in line 25. Label marker load is being defined more than once. Okay, let me take a look here in 25. It's saying I got two. Yeah, I think I do actually. Hang on. Okay, I found her. I see what I did. And that's why you want to keep things neat and organized as possible, especially when your scripts are starting to get real long and complex, because these things get hard to find. And it's good that Cheat Engine gives you the line number and everything, but what I did is I stored marker location up here where our guy is, and that's where I want it. But I had previously stored it where our marker stuff is. You can't have it in two different places, so that's what happened. So I'm just going to take it out of my marker and keep it where my char is, because I'm using it up here with my char anyway. So that should take care of that problem. So let's see if there's any more mistakes. And for right now we look okay. Let's see if we can turn it on, and hopefully it won't crash on us. Good. Alright. So what I need to do is we need to set our flags right here with hotkeys. So we got marker underscore save. And let's call it save marker location right here. We're just going to move it up here. I forgot what I assigned to hotkeys with these. I assigned that to 8. I think I assigned this one to 9. This is for my guy. This is the guy teleporting to his own coordinates. So we need to have a different number for these. So let's set hotkeys. I'm going to choose for this one F11. And what we want to do is set that value to 1. And I'm going to have a little sound activate. And we know that it's going to move 0 right back into it. And let's have our marker load. Teleport to marker. Okay. And let's put that one at, set a hotkey for F12. We need that value to be set to 1. And if we make a readme when we come out with a trainer, we need to tell them that they need to save the marker first with F11, and to be able to teleport to the marker, then mash F12 after they've saved it. If not, they'll be hitting teleport to marker and wondering why they ain't going there. Okay. So for right now, let's just see if it works, and then I can kind of quickly go over the code. Alright, so there's our marker. So let's see if it teleports me there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit F11 and I'm going to hit F12. And there we go. So now let's set it where we know it's probably not drawn yet. I'm just going to set it, hang on. Remember, we can only have one marker, the very first marker we put, and I'm going to have it right here. Let's hit F11. Let's go back to our game. Let's see what happens. Okay, so I haven't unlocked that. It's why that happened. Okay, so but it actually teleported us there. So let's continue from checkpoint. Try again. Ah, the joys of game testing. Now you're seeing what I put up with when I game test. All right, let's try that again. Let's do something different. Let's I forgot I'm at the beginning of the game. I haven't unlocked these areas yet. You see this little field right here? That's all I have unlocked, so I can't really go beyond there right now because I haven't unlocked it. Because this is still the first mission, so I haven't unlocked the entire map. So let's just stay within this region. I'm gonna put one right here. Okay? Let's go back, hit F11. Now hit F12. See how it's got to draw the area? You see that? And now it's set the collision fields. Now we can safely drop onto the collision field. If I'd appeared right there without that, we would have probably fell through and just be falling into infinity there. Alright, so let's see. Our cheat is working. We are successfully teleporting to our marker location. So, as I said, let's quickly go over the code. I'm not going to go over our player code. I've already went over that, so you know what this is doing. Saving our player's position, and this teleports us to our player's position. Now we set everything, and I already went over this. It's setting our coordinates for our marker. When we hit F11, it's saving everything to here. Okay, and then it's placing that back to 0. Right here. So it's saving all that information. So then when we hit F12, this flag triggers, the marker load triggers, and it jumps to here. So we move the 0 back into our marker load, and we have our registry that we're borrowing, and it's moving our marker coordinates to our guy. Now this call right here, when it gets to here, it's not going to continue on, it's going to jump to this location and run. It's loading up our Y coordinate for our marker. It's adding 30 to it, and then it's storing that back into Y2 right here, taking it back off the stack when it does that. It's not keeping it on there. And then going back up, Once it finishes doing that, it hits that return, and what does it do? It continues on where it left off and goes on down the list. So now you also learned that you can use these as call functions without having to create new labels and things and register new symbols and stuff like that. Even though we still had to make one for that location, it doesn't matter. But that's what a call function is used for. When you're seeing these calls in your memory view, that's what it's doing. It's going to a spot, and probably other areas are using that spot as well. It's just so you don't have to keep writing code over and over and over and over again. You have a spot that's already doing that. You can just call it and use it and have it jump back. So that's what that's for. And if I make other marker scripts later, I can just have it go to that. I can just keep calling that over and over and over again as long as that's on. And I can have other markers as well if I want to, or whatever. But that's what you do, and that's what it's doing. So we successfully was able to teleport to our marker. We'll try one more time. We need to stay within our unlocked regions for right now, but once we open up more of the map, we can start using it. And let's just go back to our horse right here. Make sure all other markers are taken off. And we're going to save the marker location. Now let's teleport to it. And it has to draw it, sets the collision fields, and boom, we're back. And we're back at our horse. So that's how to teleport to a marker, and you see how intricate it gets. You do need to find your player's coordinates, you need to find your marker coordinates, and you need to use them together. Alright. That's all I got time for this one. This was a long one. I know. I apologize about that. That's why it had to be in 2 parts. It's very intricate. So I hope you're able to get something out of it. Rewatch it again if you don't understand. Also, come join us over at the Facebook, Cheat the Game Facebook page. We've got a lot of game hackers that hang out there. If they can answer your questions, they certainly will. We do have a website coming up soon. It will be at cheatthegame.net. It's not up at the present, but it will be up. I want to thank all my partners that have contributed to the Patreon. I really appreciate that, and I do consider them partners. And they are helping with the cost of the web page and things like that. Everything goes to Cheat the Game. So if you would like to become a partner, please go to the Patreon. It only costs $1. We would really appreciate that. Any help would be appreciated, and we'll also feature you on here like I am with my partners already. Okay, well, I believe I've covered just about everything. We also got our Discord channel up. Let me see if I can find it over here. Here it is right here, and we got a ton of people already on there, and I will post that link for you in the description as well. I apologize about the last time I posted a link. I accidentally posted a temp link. I did not mean to do that. I went back and corrected that, and this is a permanent link that you can just stay in there. So I apologize about that. I'm still learning this Discord thing. I have never used it before, and I'm rarely on here as it is, but we got a ton of people and game hackers hanging out here too, as well as the Facebook page. Here's the Facebook page, and please come join us, and we'll have the Cheat the Game website up hopefully within a month. So that's what we're looking for. Alright guys, you take care. You keep on hacking. Most importantly, please enjoy yourself. That's really what it's all about. You cheat the game, fellas, because believe me, it doesn't mind cheating you. You take care now.